Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. As you have probably figured, we have a special guest. It's our dear Krishna Karunya Prabhu. He has lived for I don't know how long, since forever I can remember, in the Mathura Math with Srila Gurudev, and he's been working on. I don't think you could find a book of Gurudev that it doesn't have his name in it in the front for any of the credits. So it's hard for me to give him any credit because his credit is all over the place. Wherever you go, any harmonist, any book, any website you'll go, some service he has done. And for those that couldn't go on Parikrama or couldn't see Gurudev in 2010, there are so many videos on YouTube all over the place, all done by Krishna Karunya Prabhu. So many morning walks, so many darshans. So many ways he is serving Srila Gurudev and presenting Gurudev to us, introducing Srila Gurudev to us, and now he's going around the world on instruction of Guru and Vaishnava, presenting Gurudev and Vaishnavas to all of us. So without any further ado, Krishna Karunya Prabhu.
Embarrassing. Om Jnanatimiram Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurundalitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanuga Pravaram Rajara Sarasitam Cha Narayanam Tam Prapanam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prasthaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktidam Cha Kripa Murti Narayanam Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu eva cha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I offer my Sastangandavat pranams and to the lotus feet of our most worshipful Srila Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Srila Guru Maharaj, to our Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So it's my honor to be here in this assembly of this family of Srila Gurudev here in London. It's my first time here. Actually, sometimes I get mental, like I'm outside Vrindavan, like why I have to leave Vrindavan? But every time I come to like here, like places like here, then I always feel like, oh, I'm in Vrindavan. Srila Gurudev's family here, and like coming here, you see all like pictures and deities, and Giriraj is here. So sometimes I become so like sad, but then I become very happy. Now, and wherever I go, and I see this like families of Srila Gurudev everywhere, and this family of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then I'm all the time like appreciating. You know, during the time of Mahaprabhu, like not even a temple, one temple in Vrindavan in that time. And generally, even the people in Vrindavan, they don't know the glories of Vrindavan at that time. They don't know the pastime places of Radha and Krishna, like what pastimes are happening in these places, like this. And this is one of the things that Mahaprabhu wanted. You know that the talks of Radha and Krishna should be popular all over the world. And now, look, in Vrindavan, there's more than 5,000 temples. And not just in Vrindavan, all over the world now. Like here in London, we have this temple and many other places. So how this all started, it all from the efforts of our Goswamis. You know, like, everyone knows our Goswamis, right? The 6 Goswamis, Vrindavan, Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunathas Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So, I'm sure you've heard many glories of our Goswamis. And actually, everywhere I go, I try to like make people, especially like new members of the family, appreciate like who are the Goswamis and what is this parampara of Mahaprabhu. There I have like so many days, so one by one, every day we talk, from Rupa Goswami down to Srila Gurudev, like that. Here I only one day, so as much as possible we can talk something. We know that our Goswamis, they fulfilled Mahaprabhu's desire, like in 4 ways.
4 ways.
Yeah, like 4 missions they fulfilled to the writing many books. Now, not just ordinary books they're writing, not just even books on bhakti. Books on bhakti already were like written, but as far as like books on bhakti rasa, they have written these things. And they have written pastimes of Radha Krishna, like this, to show also clearly these things on bhakti rasa. Now, when we talk about bhakti and bhakti rasa, there's the teachings on bhakti, right? And there's like devotional service, like love for God, like that. But as far as explaining that this love has like flavors, and what are the different flavors of love? And once you describe this and you discuss about this, then ultimately you'll understand like, the highest of course is Madhurya Rasa. And actually that is the Adi Rasa. Like this. So, Mahaprabhu, we know that he came here, one thing is, he wanted to taste this love of Radharani. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this is one thing Gurudev, he wants everyone to understand. The internal reasons why Mahaprabhu came, and also the external reasons. Internal reasons Mahaprabhu coming. 3 main ones, the desire of Krishna. What are they? Understand glories of Radha's love. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho. Kidrisho means like to understand like how much like this. So the Radharani's pranay Mahima, the glory of her love. Like up to what limit it goes. Krishna must understand that. Then Swadhyaya Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho. There is this sweetness in Krishna that he sees Radharani is tasting. He also wants to understand that. Like, what is this sweetness in me that Radha is tasting? I want to understand that. Because at first he wants to understand the glory of Radharani's love. The second is that sweetness in him that Radharani is tasting. Like this. So, and the third is, what is that happiness that Radharani is tasting when tasting his sweetness? He wants to taste that also. Yeah. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So, he's seeing the devotees, especially Radharani, is enjoying so much. It is said that in Krishna Lila, he's like 1/2 only, Krishna. When we talk about love, there's the lover and the beloved. So, in Krishna Lila, he's the beloved. And he's enjoying the love of all his lovers. And his greatest lover is Radharani. Now he's saying, all my lovers are loving and enjoying so much loving me. Like that. Especially Radharani. And he's saying how Radha is so mad that I want to taste that also. I want to enjoy that. Like that. So, therefore, as Mahaprabhu, he's tasting the other side. And really as Mahaprabhu, he's complete. He's tasting now both. So when we say Krishna is he's the supreme relisher of rasa, he cannot really be a supreme relisher of rasa unless he's tasting Radharani's like love. That's why Mahaprabhu is complete. So that's one, that's internal, that is in relation to himself. But external, what is? Aside from inaugurating the Dharma for this Kali Yuga, which is the chanting of Harinam, along with that, he's giving what? This Braja praying. And we say this is very rare because really no one has done this before. And in the day of Brahma, Mahaprabhu only comes. You know how long is a day of Brahma, right? A day of Brahma has 1,000 cycles of this like Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. That's 1,000 cycles. So one cycle is 4,320,000,000 years. 1,000 cycles of that. In that one day of Brahma, only one time Mahaprabhu comes. Not in every Kali Yuga. You know. So when he comes here, he's only staying in this world for 48 years. 24 years in like household life, Navadvip. Then the next 24 years as a sannyasi, like this. So at that time when he's here, then he's distributing this path of bhakti in like mood of Braj. Before that, before Mahaprabhu's appearance, the bhakti is in the mood of Aishwarya, only leading to Vaikuntha. The highest it goes is Dasyaras, like worshipping God, you know, like you're the supreme Lord, and like with all rules and regulation, like that. They cannot go beyond what is written in scriptures and what is according to rules and regulation. But beyond this, that love that is going beyond these rules and regulations, and you can see that love in Vrindavan, where they don't see God as God, but their best friend or their little child like this, or their beloved. That kind of love Mahaprabhu is trying to show. And Gurudev is especially telling that really Mahaprabhu wants to distribute that love of becoming maidservants of Radha and Krishna. Really, that's what he was distributing. And through our Goswamis, he was distributing this. So, why I'm mentioning this? Because as followers of Mahaprabhu's family, first we have to appreciate this. This is the speciality of our family from Mahaprabhu. And so, this is the desire of Mahaprabhu that people will know about Radha and Krishna. Because that time, there was really, it said that Vrindavanyam Rasakeli Vartam Kalayana Luptam. There's this chapter on this glorification of Rupa Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says that these talks of Radha Krishna in Vrindavan, after some time it has disappeared. So then, just as God desires for creation, he empowers Lord Brahma. So then said, now he desires again these talks of Vrindavan, pastimes of Radha Krishna, be known in the world. And therefore he empowers Rupa Goswami. And you look, Rupa Goswami has written even more than Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadev Goswami cannot even mention the name of Radha in Bhagavatam. And we know why, because Gurudev said, if he mention the name of Radha, then he'll be in separation, and he'll collapse for 6 months. Parikshit Maharaj only has 1 week to live. So, anyhow. But it doesn't mean that, because sometimes when we speak of like relation, then we think that the higher they can express their mood of separation, that's the higher their love, you know? So like for example, Sukadev Goswami, it is said, Gurudev said, she's the parrot of Radharani. And therefore, just to say the name of Radha would make him like very in the separation mood. But what about Rupa? Rupa has done more. And he's not collapsing. So should we say like Sukadev has so much more love than Rupa? No, that's why we say Mahaprabhu empowered him. He empowered him with Karunya Shakti or Kripa Shakti, like this. And if you read Madhura Kadambini, you can have some understanding. What is this Kripa Shakti, this Karunya Shakti? You're familiar with the book Madhura Kadambini. Gurudev has written this book, he's translated this book in Hindi and made commentary more than 10 years ago. But the English translation has not come out yet. Hopefully this year. It's been like 10 years already. They're trying to add it and all these things. But this book really is so very important. Very nice book. Gurudev said this is like a lamppost, on the path of bhakti for the sadhak. Because if you're like walking on a highway and very dark, then anytime you can stumble, or you don't see maybe some dacoits on the side like this, huh? But it's like a lamppost. It illuminates the path of bhakti, and easily you can see where you are, where is your direction, and then you can walk like very quickly like this. So in this Madhura Kadambini, it describes all. It is by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He described all the stages of bhakti, from Shraddha to Prem, and like in very nice details actually. And of course, after that, he said like there's more stages after here, like the different transformation of Prem, but I'm not gonna explain anymore because you won't understand anyway. He said like that. But these are all described by Rupa Goswami. Now, in that chapter where he's talking about the sadhak already attaining bhav, and now he's experiencing glimpses of Prem, he's actually, he said that at that stage, the devotee is totally mad. All his relatives and friends and neighbors completely like, thinking like, oh, now he's completely mad. And he's telling like why. He said that because at that time, the devotee has this so much like eagerness to see Krishna and always in separation mood. He'll be hankering to see Krishna, chanting Harinam. And he said that then Krishna appears to him. When Krishna appears to him, then you see, oh, so beautiful form of Krishna. And then all his senses would like merge with his eyes to relish the beauty of Krishna. But then he's experiencing so much happiness, he cannot tolerate, and he'll collapse. And so then Krishna will come closer, and he'll be revived by the smell of Krishna. And then he said, all his senses will merge with his nose to relish the smell of Krishna. But then again, he's so ecstatic, he cannot tolerate the happiness, he's again collapsed. Then Krishna will come closer, and then he will whisper to the devotee, like, oh my dear devotee, what happened? Like this. Then he will be revived by the voice of Krishna. And it said that all his senses would merge with his ears to listen to the very nice sound of Krishna's voice. But again, so much happiness, he cannot tolerate, he'll collapse. So then, Krishna would touch the devotee. He said, according to the rasa, according to the relationship, he said like those in Dasya, then he would put his feet on their head, like this. And those in Sakya, then he would hold their hands, like this. And those in Vatsalya, then embrace them, or like he said that he would wipe the tears from their eyes, and like would also like caress their like head, like that. And those in Madhurya, he would even kiss them, like this. And so then, it says that then the devotee will be revived by Krishna's touch. And all his senses would merge with the sense of touch to relish Krishna's touch. But he will be so ecstatic, he cannot tolerate the happiness, again he'll collapse. Like this. And so then, Krishna would revive him. It said that Krishna would give his odarya, his generosity. And that is like all together. Eyes, like smell, touch, like this. Like this. So then, the devotee, he said like he's like a little ant in a big tidal wave. He's like revived and he's collapsing like this. And he said that Krishna will see the devotee, so helpless. Like too helpless, like, and then his heart melting. Then he said he will give his Karunya Shakti. And he will empower the devotee. Now he can tolerate and he can reciprocate with Krishna. He will not collapse. So then we can understand, so that was what it means when empowering of his Karunya Shakti. But then Krishna disappears. And then the devotee becomes mad. Like this, like, where's Krishna? So that's why he's mad. But from here we can understand what it means when, like, being able to be, when we say Mahaprabhu empowered Rupa with his Karunya Shakti. And that's why Rupa, he could write all these things. Like, pastime with Radha Krishna and not collapse. He said, Gurudev said, in Terikadamba, that's in Nandagaon, for sure, many of you have been there. That's where Rupa Goswami have written most of his books, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwala Nilamani. And there, he said, Gurudev was telling, Rupa Goswami, he can tolerate and he's sitting and writing all these pastimes. But the tree behind him cannot tolerate. He said, like, when he's writing all this, like, separation mood, and this kadamba tree, like, all his, leaves are falling down and it's like drying up like this. But then when he's writing all this, like, meeting and sweet pastimes with Radha Krishna, then this tree also, so many kadamba flowers blooming like this. So this is the glories of our Goswamis. They're writing all these things, even more than Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is because Mahaprabhu empowered them. And actually, they're the ones who know all these things. Now, our Goswamis, they know, they're very confidential servants of Radha and Krishna. So they know, like, whatever has happened. And so then they can write all these things. So, aside from writing pastimes of Radha Krishna, then they're writing, like, the philosophy. He's explaining everything about Bhakti Rasa. Now, the other mission they fulfilled is, now aside from writing, then to begin, make people understand that this is real and have, like, relationship. Now they have to discover the pastime places, So like now, if you go to Vrindavan, then it's very easy. People, we ask them, where's Radha Kunj? And they say, oh, here. And then they tell you, oh, what happened there? How do you know all these things? Because of our Goswamis. Like, not just that, those places, Bangsivat and all these places, And these are all. Mahaprabhu himself, he reserved to discover the highest place. And that's Radha Kund and Shyamakund. Mahaprabhu himself discovered that. When he went to Vrindavan, or to Braj, Mahaprabhu discovered Radha Kund, Shyamakund. The rest, our Goswamis discovered. Then, okay, aside from writing books and on Bhakti Rasa, Hasan Radha Krishna, and discovering pastime places of Radha Krishna, what else? Third, they establish deities. Yeah, they establish deities, and this is in this way. Immediately, people can have direct service to Radha Krishna. Like they can have direct engagement and relation with Radha Krishna by establishing deities. And then now they're teaching people to take care of deities. Then they're also teaching rules and regulation, etiquette. So these 4 things they did. And now what happened? Vrindavan, everywhere, many temples, talks of Radha Krishna. But not just in Vrindavan, now it's spread all over the world. So wherever I go, I always tell devotees, sometimes devotees become little discouraged. Like for example, in Russia, government making all these regulations. You cannot go book distribution like this. Oh, you have to have all registration and all these things, right? I don't think there's a problem here. But sometimes devotees will feel like, oh, we are not so many, and it's difficult to preach, not so many interested, like this. But look, during the time of Mahaprabhu, even in Vrindavan, there was no temple even. And no one is talking about Radha Krishna. No one know all these things. Our time now is so much better. Even the time of Mahaprabhu, the Muslims are making more atrocities than before, than now. If you think the Muslims are creating all this disturbance, they were doing even more during Mahaprabhu's time. And also later on, our Goswamis built all these temples, and they're breaking all these temples. Now they're not doing it that much. So our time is really so much better. and really, if you just follow the activities of the Goswamis, you can make this place like Vrindavan and make it expand more. So now I don't have much time to talk on each one, but in general, our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has glorified our Guru Varga. And in our Guru Vastakam, I think everyone knows our Guru Vastakam, no? Everyone singing this every morning? Everyone knows this Guru Vastakam? This Sangsara Dava, Nalalida Loka, Tranaya Karunya, Ganaganatam. This Guru Vastakam. For many, because we've been saying this for many years, every day. Sometimes it just becomes mechanical, Sangsara Dava. But really, if you try to understand, this is the standard of the gurus in our sampradaya. Here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's setting, like, okay, this is the standard of our Guru. Because there's so many descriptions of Guru, Guru Tattva. But as far as the Gurus in our Guru Parampara, in the line of Mahaprabhu, really, if you look at in this Guru Bhashtakam, then you can see how high the standard of our Gurus. So like, just briefly, we try to speak about that today. It says that, it starts by saying, Samsaradava nalalida loka tsanaya karunya ganaganatam. Like, everyone knows about this. In summary, he's showing an analogy. Like, I worship Gurudev. He's like the rain cloud that extinguishes the what? The forest fire, the blazing forest fire of this material existence. Huh? So he's saying like this material existence is like a blazing forest fire. And that's a very strong analogy really, because blazing, when you say not just a forest fire, it's a blazing forest fire. That means like no chance for survival. And like, and it said like, okay, this world, everyone is burning with the threefold miseries. You know the threefold miseries, right?
Adhyatmic, adibhautik.
Yeah, adhyatmic, adibhautik, Daivik, yeah. So, and whether you don't want to suffer, suffering is always there. So, it's a place of suffering. Now, he said, Guru, he's like the cloud that extinguishes this forest fire. Now, take note, this is a very good analogy, because, like Swami Prabhupada, he was explaining, Swami Prabhupada explained that Gurus, they never claim that they're the source of water. Like the cloud. The cloud is not the source of water. What is the source of water? Like the ocean. No. But it said that from the ocean, then clouds are formed. So this symbolizes like from God, when His mercy becomes very thick, like from this evaporation of this water, and then they form into clouds. They become very thick clouds. It's like when God's mercy becomes very thick, and it becomes like a very thick mercy, like a rain cloud, then it pours rain. So that's like Guru. It extinguishes this blazing forest fire. So then in the next verses, then it's explaining how this mercy is showering from Guru. So what is the next verse? What's the next verse? Mahaprabhu Kirtanam Nitya Gita Vaditramajan Manosarasena. Okay, like everyone knows about this, but in essence, what does it say? Guru has welcomed you in this Mahaprabhu's Kirtan movement. How he do that? He give you Harinam. This Harinam. That is the basis of this Mahaprabhu's Kirtan, no? Harinam. The names of God. Now, when we talk about, Mahaprabhu, in Harinam Chintamani, for example, there was this discussion of Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur. This is actually a very nice book also. If you can read this book, this is so good book. It's Harinam Chintamani. Through Haridas Thakur, Mahaprabhu is showing to the devotees all this tattva on Harinam. This is our central process, no? So it's very important to know these things also. So Mahaprabhu was discussing first, like he was describing who is Vaishnav, and Mahaprabhu has a standard. When we say Vaishnav, Mahaprabhu has his definition of a Vaishnav, his standard. What's Mahaprabhu's definition of Vaishnav? He's saying that those who chant once, just even once, the name of Krishna, he is the highest of human being. He's worshipable. He's called Vaishnav. Mahaprabhu is saying like that. And those who's constantly chanting Nam, he said, he's a very high class Vaishnav. But he said, but the highest Vaishnav is one, just by seeing him, then so much love coming in your heart, you're automatically chanting Nam also, like this. So then later on, actually Haridas, he clarified this. Because we may think like, we're chanting all the time, right? I'm high class Vaishnav, right? All these Mayavadis, they're chanting also. And they're not just chanting once, they're also high class Vaishnav because they're chanting all the time, like this. So Haridas actually, he clarified this point. He's Namacharya. So Haridas was telling, and he explained, when Mahaprabhu says, chanting once Nam or chanting many times Nam, when he's talking about Nam, he's talking about that name that is not different from Krishna himself. Like when we glorify a name, Krishna's name is not different from Krishna himself, like this. We're referring to Shuddha Nam, like pure name. So he's not talking about Namabas, like this. So there's many kinds of Namabas also. There's this Namabas that is with faith and Namabas without faith. But Haridas is telling even the Namabas without faith and even offensive, that can even give liberation, like this. So there's four types of like Namabas without faith. The least offensive is Sanket, that is accidental or coincidental. Like for example, Ajamil. You know the story of Ajamil, no? Ajamil, actually he knows that Narayan is the name of God, but he's not a devotee, and he's not really, when he calls Narayan, he's not calling God, because the name of his son is Narayan. Narayan is playing, hey Narayan, come here, eat, like this. Huh? Oh, Narayan, don't do, all the time, Narayan, Narayan, like this. When he died also, actually he's very sinful. When he died, he saw these Yamaduts, then he's so scared, he's calling his son, Narayan, like this. And then the Vishnuduts came, protected him. Why? Because just by chanting, like even like this, Sanket, all your sins removed, all your like past karma removed, like this. So then, that is another type of Sanket. Joking. No, but another example of Sanket is like the Muslims. They have this word haram. When something like abominable, it's haram, like that. They say a pig, haram, like this. So he said just by that they can be liberated. Now a little more offensive than that is joking. People chanting Harinam, for example, Hare Krishna, and someone also making fun, Hare Krishna, like this. But even that can give liberation even. And then what else? There is Stova. Stova is now with some anger also, with little anger in there, and like little insulting, like this. Like say you're a new devotee, and your mother now is so angry with you. Why are you not eating meat anymore? Like this, and what are you all doing all this, like chanting, like this. What is this, Hare Krishna, like this. And he's also chanting, Hare Krishna. This is like a stova. And the most offensive of all is Hela, like so much neglect or disrespect. Like you're told this is God's name, and okay, you may think like, oh, this is God's name, but no respect. Chanting, playing video game, Hare Krishna, or like chanting and watching movie like this. It's like, oh, Krishna, you're calling Krishna hit the hair, and like you're totally neglecting him. It's like it's offensive like this. But even that can give liberation, it says. But how much more with faith? How much more with faith? But anyway, like where am I now? We're talking about Hari now, no Mahaprabhu. So now Mahaprabhu is telling so when he said he's chanting Nam, Haridas clarified that Shuddha Nam. Because Haridas later he said that those who are chanting Namabas, they are Vaishnav Prai. They are not Vaishnav Prai, meaning almost like Vaishnav, or Vaishnav Abbas. Like he called them Vaishnav Abbas. They're not Vaishnav yet. But very soon, if they're chanting Namabas but with faith, there's also two kinds of faith. One is the shadow faith, and one is the reflection faith, the chaya and the pratibimba, like this. The shadow one he said, is the real faith.
Yeah.
That is like, okay, you're told that God's name is not different from God, right? But now, like, you are not seeing that name, that's God's name yet. Why? Because as God Himself. Why? Because you're covered by so much anarthas. But you continue to chant because you have that faith. It's like the sun, for example. The sun is so powerful, really no one can cover the sun. Sun cannot be covered. But our eyes can be covered. You know? Our eyes can be covered, so we don't see the sun. So there's clouds or like mist or fog. By that, then you cannot see the sun. So this is like our anarthas. Like now, so much anartha, then we are told, oh, this is the name. And you're chanting this name because of that faith. And because of your anarthas, you're not seeing, but still you continue. Okay, so that is called like shadow. Because it's connected to the real thing. Now you're not seeing fully the sun, but after some time when the clouds will be removed, then you will see the sun. Like this. And this is good. Now the other one is a reflection. It said like some people, they come in contact with the devotees. And it appears that they have some faith because they follow what the devotees are doing. But actually they have some desires, either not really for bhakti, but maybe for sense gratification or liberation, like this. So, you can see them, they're following, and they're like, like they have some faith. But the moment their desire is fulfilled, like now they have, they become rich or they become famous, like that, then they leave. Or when they're practicing so long and they didn't attain their goal, they didn't become rich or they didn't become famous. Then there's all this bogus, and then they leave like this. So this kind of faith, this is like a reflection. It is not connected to the real thing, the real substance. So like in a reflection, the reflection is actually on going to the opposite. Like if you go to the reflection, you're actually going far away from the real object, like that. It's different from the shadow. From the shadow you can trace the source, like this. So this is like the faith of those who are chanting Nam, but with desire for sense gratification or liberation. It will never lead to prem. That Namabhas can never lead to prem, and they can only be cheated. They can be cheated. They can even attain liberation, but they're cheated. It said Namabhas can give everything except prem, except love. So, but this shadow, it can lead to Shuddhanam. Then Shuddhanam can give prem. Okay. So, therefore, Haridas Thakur, he said, those who are chanting Namabhas, they're called Vaishnav Abbas, Vaishnav Prai. And if they continue, they can become Vaishnav. Now, why I'm mentioning this? Because, okay, we said Guru, he gives Nam, and really, only by mercy of Guru, Haridas also telling, Namabhas can never become Shuddhanam without mercy of Guru. Because Guru is the one that's actually giving relation. Unless relation comes, this Namabhas never becomes Shuddhanam. So that only happens when Guru is like, speaking to you Harikatha, giving you mantra, like this. And he himself giving you Shuddhanam, like this. So, anyway, taking so much time on that. First one. Mahaprabhu's kirtan. He's giving, this is his first mercy to the disciple. He gives the Harinam to the disciple. And this is the wonderful feature of Harinam, because from Harinam, in the beginning, it's only sound, it's only sound. But then after some time, then you begin to appreciate, this name, not just sound, it has form. Then after some time, as you become purified, then it is not just sound, not just form, but qualities. Now you begin to experience all qualities of Krishna. And then after some time, not just sound, form, qualities, but you'll see that with this name, God has so many associates, they have activities. Then you enter into the pastimes. So that's why in the next verse, Vishwanath Thakur, he's telling again, oh, how more mercy came. What's the next verse after Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita? Shri Vigraha Nanityanana Shringaratan Mandir Marjanadu. This verse. I'm hoping everyone is chanting this every day. Every morning we're supposed to sing this. And really, like, we have to appreciate, like, so much deep meanings of this. Especially, like, for example, this verse. When it says Shri Vigraha, what is Shri Vigraha? Now, this is next mercy of Guru. First he gave Harinam, now he's giving Shri Vigraha. So, Shri Vigraha is the form of name, you know. But which form is giving? Now, here immediately we can see the standard of the followers of Mahaprabhu. Because, like, now Mahaprabhu's followers, or Mahaprabhu's Guru Varga, they're giving which form of Krishna? They're not giving Lakshmi Narayan, like, for worshipping. They're showing the form of, like, the original, like in Braj, Brajana and Krishna, with Radha, like this. And that's why in this verse, Vishwanath is actually hinting. He said, Shri Vigraha Nanityanana Shringar Tan Mandir Marjanadu. He's mentioning the word Shringar. Shringar, because, okay, we translate, Shringar means like to dress the deity, you know? But Shringar also is like another name for Madhurya Rasa, Shringar Rasa, like that. And really, that is that murti that they're giving. When we talk about deities, we're not talking about deities that you buy from the market, you know, and you can decorate and like a doll, like that. Something like, okay, you spend your time like a doll. No, deity is really from the heart of from God's heart or the devotee's heart, they're giving to the disciple as their mercy, so that they can enter to that particular pastime that guru is serving. So when we talk about murti, I always give an example. Like now, there's a special event, and you want your friends to also witness and have that like feeling of that particular event. Like let's say Ramananda Prabhu won the Krishna Kripa. He's a wrestler, right? So maybe he won in the wrestling match, huh? And then he got this belt or this trophy. And so then you're taking his picture and sending to like Facebook, Instagram, and like that. And everyone looking like, oh, like this. So it's like that actually with the devotee. They have this specific pastime in their heart where they're serving Radha and Krishna. So they're also like taking picture of that and then showing that to his disciples. So then they can also like enter into these pastimes like this. Like Mahaprabhu himself. Look, Mahaprabhu he manifested a deity, right? Which deity? Mahaprabhu. Tota Gopinath. This deity is very unique. What is special feature of this deity? He's sitting down. This deity is sitting down. Good explaining that. You know, when Krishna was in Rasa Leela with gopis, they're dancing like that, then he left. Then what happened? Everyone became mad, they were crying like this. Then, after some time, like they felt hopeless, they're sitting down, and automatically they're singing Gopi Git, expressing their moods like this. Then Krishna cannot contain his guilt, he's feeling so sorry, he's coming back. And then they becomes happy. They're offering their upper cloth for asan. They're giving him a seat. Then Krishna sat down with a very guilty smile, but very beautiful. And Guru said, that is Gopinath, Tota Gopinath. At that point, Krishna, he said, Napariyaham nirabadyo samniljam. It's like, I cannot reciprocate your love. Your love is so high, I cannot repay your love. Like this. If there's competition between our love, I am defeated. Like that. So Mahaprabhu is like showing that. It's like, look, Mahaprabhu came here to glorify Radharani. You know, he wants to taste this. So he's showing. I remember one time, Gurudev, it was summertime, Gurudev had program in Haridwar, but he was staying in Rishikesh. You're probably there. We were staying in Haridwar with Gurudev in Rishikesh, but one day I was called to come to Rishikesh because Achyuta's hard drive broke. Yeah, so then they're like, okay, come here. So then I got to stay with them, which is like Gurudev and the devotees. So then one like morning walk, because Gurudev always do morning walk. Same time, that time when Radharani and Manjaris would go for from Java to Nandaground, because Radharani every morning, walking to cook for Krishna. That is Gurudev's whole time for morning walk. So when he was morning walk, sometimes during morning walk, Gurudev would ask questions. No, and sometimes devotees ask questions. This time Gurudev was asking questions to the devotees. He said, "What's the best shloka?" It's like, "What's your favorite sloka?" And somewhere it said like Anyarlash Sunyam and these other slokas. I heard like they were telling some Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Now Gurudev said, best shloka. He was mentioning the shloka, Napariham Nirabhaju Samyajam. And you can understand Gurudev's mood, because Gurudev is telling, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna promised, Ye yatha mam prabhadyante. He said according to your love, I reciprocate. Krishna promised that. But he said in the Bhagavatam, he broke this promise. Mm-hmm. He said to the gopis, I cannot repay your love. Your love is so high. Like this. Mm-hmm. So then we can understand, at that time Gurudev's mood was like, they have this pride, like Radha is so great, like Radharani's servants, this pride, like this. So he said, this best shloka. So like this, Mahaprabhu, he was showing this in that form of Gopinath. That is when Krishna said, Napariham Nirabhaja Samyajam. So anyone, and that's why he's called Gopinath. Because Gopinath doesn't mean, the general understanding of Gopinath is that he is the Lord of the Gopis. He's the Nath of the Gopis, the Lord of the Gopis. But here Mahaprabhu is showing that really Gopinath is one whose Lord are the Gopis. Gopinath. And he said those who also have that kind of love of the Gopis, then Krishna would sit in their heart and also appear to them. So my point was that the Murti, this is the gift from the heart of the Guru. Like Param Gurudev, he manifested Radha Vinod Bihari. And that's related to the pastime of Krishna absorbed in the love of Radha. In separation, he becomes like the same complexion as Radharani. Or when they're meeting, then he also absorbing so much absorption of Radha. Then also he will get the same complexion as Radharani. So in this verse, Sri Vigraha Natina Shringara Tanman Dhiramarjanadu. Now Gurudev is giving this, our Guru in our Sampradaya, they're giving this Vigraha in Shringarasa. And that's why there's Murti of Radha and Krishna. And then they're serving this Murti. And then in the next verse, it says Chatur Vidhashri Bhagavad Prasad. And now he becomes so happy to see now his disciples relishing Mahaprasad. So you can understand this, you may understand this as like the prasadam, like now after this, taking Mahaprasad, like that. Huh? That is one understanding. But it's described also that there's 4 kinds of Mahaprasad, right? 4 kinds of food stuff. One is that chewed, licked, drunk, and sucked, like this. Huh? But also, a deeper meaning would be that now that you're serving this Murti of Shringarasa, then you begin to taste this, what is in Madhurya Rasa, this 4 rasa is there. When Mahaprabhu was describing to Rai Ramananda about like rasa, he's only talking about 4 rasa. He excluded the Shantaras. Only Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. When he explained to Rai Ramananda. And Madhurya Rasa, in Shringa Rasa, that includes all the 4 rasa in that. So that is actually like now those who are serving this Vigraha that Guru is giving, now they begin to taste this Madhurya Rasa, which has these 4 rasas in there. And then he continues by saying, Shri Radhika Madhavayora Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupanamnam. My Gurudev is always absorbed not just in the name and form and qualities, but pastimes of Radha Madhav, like this. And he's also making us absorb in this pastimes, sweet pastimes of Radha Madhav. So this is his next gift. Like, so his name, form, qualities, and pastimes he's giving to the disciples. Which pastimes? Radha Madhav. This is like standard of our Sampradaya and Mahaprabhu. And why he can do this? And that is answered in the next verse. And Gurudev said this is like one of the like main important, like the most important, because it talks about the identity of Guru. So what is that verse? Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhayar yaya libir yuktir apekshaniyam tata ridakshar. Now this one, it says that Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhayar. It's talking about the Nikunja pastimes. When you talk about Nikunja pastimes, this is like very high pastimes. Not any Brajbasi can be serving in the Nikunja. You know? Like Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, they're not serving in the Nikunja. They cannot go also there. And even Baladev, he will not. Although no one can stop Baladev going anywhere, but he will not go there. He will not go there because he knows he will disturb like this. Now, even the Sakis of Radha, sometimes they don't just go inside the Nikunjas, in Nikunja pastimes, because sometimes they may feel like we may disturb, because they are the same age and even older than Radharani. How much more for the Sakas, like Krishna's like friends? They have no entrance to this, to the Nikunja pastimes. Some devotees, they're telling that, oh no, they can serve, like the Priyanarma Sakas, they can serve in the Kunjas, like this. Because they found some verses of Rupa Goswami when Rupa was glorifying Subal Saka, who's the leader of the Priyanarma Sakas of Krishna. He's glorifying Subal, and they use this as evidence that no, the Priyanarma Saka, they can actually go also in the Kunjas like this. But if you can understand whatever Rupa is telling, like fully, if you look at the commentary of Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and they're completely telling that no, not possible, because like look here in this particular verse, for example, Rupa, he was glorifying Subal Saka. He said what Subal Saka, like a very dear friend of Krishna, cannot do. He said he can even like decorate, he can make even flower bed in the kunja like that. So then immediately thinking, oh, he can be inside the kunja. And look, he can even fan Krishna while Krishna is lying on the lap of a gopi. Like that. So they immediately think, oh, like he can actually go in the kunja. But then, if you read like this, it may appear contradictory to the previous statements of Rupa when he's describing about only those like in Madhurya Rasa and like those in like gopi form can be in the kunja. And therefore, Jiva Goswami, he wrote commentary to explain this, to show that there's never a contradiction in any of Rupa Goswami's like writings, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So here, Jiva, for example, he's saying that actually Rupa was glorifying, and therefore he's exaggerating. Like, oh, someone is crying tears of river, like rivers of tears, like that. He's like only exaggerating. But especially Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's clearly telling like, yeah, he can do like decorating flower bed, but that's before the pastime, no. And also, like he can fan, but he was fanning using a mechanical fan from outside. Like how in India they have all this like fan with a thing. So like the kunja pastime is there, but he cannot be inside. But like he's very dear to Krishna. He still wants to perform pastime, but he's outside like fanning. Like this. So yeah, so inside that's like Nikunja pastime is very high. Even the Sakis of Radha, sometimes they cannot just go there. But there's the group of confidential servants of Radha Krishna that in and out, no problem. They can go in, out, and they're like part of the environment there. They don't cause disturbance, and they're like expansion of Radharani's body, like this. So Krishna, Radha, they can just tell them, do like this, no problem, no harm, like that. These are the manjaris. So in this verse, he said, my Gurudev is Nikunja Yunu Ratikeli Siddhyair. He's telling that he makes the Nikunja pastimes perfect. That's how great my Guru is. He's got Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli sit there. All this loving pastimes in the Nikunja. My Guru Dev makes them perfect. Like that. So these are the glories of the mantras. So here we can see the standard of the gurus in our Sampradaya, this line of Mahaprabhu. Like from Rupa Goswami up to Srila Gurudev. That is the standard really of our Gurudev. So therefore, Sakshat Haridvena Samasta Shastra. All the Shastras glorifying them as Sakshat Hari. They're completely like a full manifestation of Hari. Hari also means thief, like steal. Now look, and this we can appreciate how high the mercy of Guru. Where are we now? From the beginning of the Shikshastakam, this Gurvastakam, where are we now? Where? In the
Blazing fire.
in this blazing forest fire. In this samsara loka. We're in this, but Guru can steal you from here and bring you where? To the Nikunja, Ratikeli, sit there, like that very high place, not even like all these, like other Brishbasis can come. And you can assist there, making these pastimes perfect, like that. That's like how high this mercy of our Guru Varga given to us. And therefore, he's worshipable. Guru is so worshipable. And lastly, he said, Yasya Prasadam, Bhagavat Prasadu, Yasya Prasad Nagatikotopi. By mercy of Bhagavan, you get Guru. But without mercy of Guru, you can never go to Krishna. So, this we have to appreciate. This is the standard of the Gurus in the line of Mahaprabhu. They're distributing the service to Radha and Krishna. That has never been distributed before, like this. And therefore, we can't even like imagine like how fortunate we are to be welcome in this family, to have met Srila Gurudev. Now, who knows how many gurus we have in the past? Like in previous life, we have taken Diksha, or who can tell like that. But it is said that in one's life, you will have to meet a Sadguru. When you say Sadguru, meaning that Guru is your eternal Guru. He's your eternal link to the eternal world. So when you meet a Sadguru, then you're connected. Now you may not perfect now your like your sadhana, but that Sadguru is your eternal Guru. So in your next life, he will be there, because Guru, like Krishna, they go one universe to the other. It's not like the jivas, they're suffering and they're forced by the karma to suffer in this world. Krishna coming and performing pastimes. The same with the eternal associates of Krishna and Mahaprabhu. They're going one universe to the other, like this. So Gurudev have come here, then after that he goes to another universe. So some disciples, they may not have perfected their sadhana, but this Sadguru, in his next life, he will take him to that universe where he is, and then he will continue to be trained there, like this, until he'll be qualified to enter into Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And there he'll be. This is the speciality of those servants of Mahaprabhu, followers of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is mood of Radha, and therefore those who are serving him, they will be trained to become maid servant of Radharani. Now you enter in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, then you'll become trained to become maid servant of Radharani. You enter in the pastimes of Radha Krishna later on. So, Srila Gurudev is Sadguru, and our relation with Srila Gurudev, and all in our Bhagavad Guru Parampara, they're all like eternal, like Nityasiddhas. And you look, in our Bhagavad Guru Parampara, this is not based on Diksha. Mahaprabhu, he's not the Diksha Guru of Rupa Goswami. Rupa did not get Diksha, or Sanatan did not get Diksha from Mahaprabhu. But we're telling, the line is coming from there. After Rupa, we know foremost follower of Rupa Goswami is who? Raghunath Goswami. Raghunath Goswami Diksha Guru is Yadunandan Acharya. not Rupa Goswami, but we said, oh, he's the foremost Rupanuga. Jiva Goswami also Rupanuga. He is the Diksha disciple of Rupa. Then, after Jiva Goswami, who was after that? Narottam, Srinivas Shamananda. None of them are Diksha disciples of Jiva Goswami. They have their own Diksha gurus. But they're next in line in our Bhagavad Guru Parampara. Like this. We have to understand what is the nature of this Parampara when we talk about Bhagavad Guru Parampara, because this is our family. Now, after Narottam, Prabhupada, he was telling, our line is actually coming in this line of Narottam Das Thakur. Who's after Narottam Das Thakur? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, we know he's not Diksha disciple of Narottam. He's not even a direct, like physical, like Shiksha disciple of Narottam. He's like 3 generations away. He's 3 generations away from like Narottam Das Thakur. But he's like next in line. This is something to think about. Why? Then after him, who? There is Baladev Vijayabhushan. Baladev Vijayabhushan, not also Diksha disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Then after Baladev Vijayabhushan, there's Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, he's 3 generations away from Baladev Vijayabhushan. Like this. Then after Baladev, there's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Again, he's not Diksha disciple of Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. Then after Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj. He's also not Diksha disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But his Diksha disciple, that is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is there. And now, it was actually Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, who's like, pointing this out. This is our family line. This is the family line. Now, what does it mean when we say this parampara, this Bhagavad Guru parampara? So Prabhupada is explaining that this parampara is not based on Diksha. But he's also telling that it doesn't mean that Diksha is not important. Because Diksha is important. And he's showing that in his example. When Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj didn't want to give him Diksha, then he said, what's the purpose of my life? So he himself also showing that Diksha is important. But he said that this is not based on Diksha because one may have, no, he said Diksha line can be cut. He said, okay, one may receive Diksha, but the moment he's not following the Shiksha, then he's not connected, right? So now, when we're talking about our parampara, then there are actually like Sadgurus. They are eternal associates of Radha and Krishna. And they have come and they have made a very prominent like contribution to the parampara. Like very prominent contribution. And up to now they're teaching. Their time for teaching is not based on that time that they're doing or their presence. And that's why even like they're not here anymore, the parampara will continue if one follows their teaching. So like up to now we're learning from Rupa Goswami. Up to now we're learning from Jiva. Up to now we're learning from Narottam Das Thakur. Look, all the songs we're singing from Narottam, like this. And we're trying to learn all his moods actually. Now, there's someone asked Srila Bhakta Rakshakshidhar Maharaj, like why we're including Jagannath Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj? What is his contribution? Like that. Like someone asked him like that, and Tirthapada Prabhu, you know him, no? He was there, and that was like one of the time that he saw like Srila Bhakti Rakshakshidhar Maharaj like really like little like angry, like, and he said, you don't know what is his contribution? Like that. He said, you don't know? He gave Prabhupada like this. And actually sometimes we think, like Prabhupada is like independent, like making up his own things. Like no, it's actually all inspired by Srila Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj. Srila Gaurkishore Babaji, he was not preaching. He's like totally renounced. But all this inspiration coming from him, and that's why like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like he's so powerful actually. completely he changed the reputation or the name of the Gaudiyas. During the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you can, if you look in our like many accounts of our Guru Varga, that time was very difficult time. The Gaudiyas are looked down by people because like everyone like seeing these Gaudiyas like useless, like beggars and like immoral people like that. That time was like it was like the British occupation time, Like many new teachings come like this, and like Mahaprabhu's teaching not so anymore popular also. What to speak of Mahaprabhu's teaching? They don't even know where Mahaprabhu's birthplace at that time. So this birthplace of Mahaprabhu was discovered by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But really this was by inspiration of Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. That's why Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, he's very prominent also. And sometimes we only know him as like an old person who like approved, this is birthplace of Mahaprabhu. But actually when he was younger, he was preaching all the time. He's going 6 months Braj, 6 months Bengal, like this. And that's why he's well known. And later when he confirmed that this is birthplace of Mahaprabhu, because really that was his desire. And he waited for that. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur fulfilled that. And that time when he confirmed, everyone followed, like his confirmation, because he's like accepted by everyone. So, but Prabhupada, when he made this Gaudiya Math, then completely changed the reputation of Gaudiyas. From that so useless like beggars and like immoral people to like now they're very they're very respectable, like intelligent, like young, like very pure people. Then actually that time Prabhupada, he was like a national figure. If you read like accounts during that time, Prabhupada is actually very famous. That because what happened later on when Mayapur was already like established, they had Yoga Pit, and by help of Param Gurudev also, they established the Chaitanya Mat. That's like the Mool Mat, no? They would have Kirtan festivals and attracting people to come, and then they would speak Harikatha and capturing people's heart. Now, Prabhupada would used to do also like exhibitions. Like now, this is very common, where in many temples, we have all these big paintings or like relief of like pastimes, no? That time, that's something very new. And so there's like something very attractive for new people. Have you seen all these things like this? They're using all these lights and everything. And people going there. Sometimes Prabhupada, they would sponsor the boat ride like this. People will come and then they will speak Harikatha like this. So now they have like temples like Prem Mandir in Vrindavan, and people would like to come because they have all this fountain and lights and movies on the fountain like this. So like, have you seen that? And they go. At that time in Mayapur, that is like that. Like all these exhibits. And so then, not only the Sahajiya Babajis who were like, they question so much whatever Prabhupada was doing. Like, why is he giving Brahmin thread to Sudras? Like this. What is this teaching sannyas? There was never sannyasis. Like everyone is like Babajis, like Paramahansa. Prabhupada is telling like we don't imitate. We're not gonna imitate that we're beyond this like all this varnashram. We will train people. Okay, we'll train them to be brahmacharis, how to be proper grihasta, like this. We will not try to pretend that we are Paramahansa. But then, like monkeys, doing many bad activities like this. So, aside from the Sahajiya Babajis against Prabhupada, then there's all these like revolutionary like leaders. Gandhi's group and this what is Bose?
Subhash Chandra Bose.
Subhash Chandra Bose. They would do protests outside the temple. And they would say like, you're wasting all this money, like burning all these lights. They could be fed, they could be used to buy food to feed the poor. And also they were against so much, like, you know, when Gaudiya is like begging for donations for all this, because there were times when there was like flood in Bengal, and people like are poor, you know, and so then they said like, all these people are already suffering, and they're poor, and now you're getting money from them also, and only for burning into this, like, all these lights in your exhibits like this, and so there's always so many issues to talk about. So that's why their magazines, first only like monthly or every 3 months, and then they have weekly, now they have daily. Because now they're answering all these issues and also giving all Harikatha. Prabhupada telling that we're not a karmic mission like this. Like you're concerned about this flood, but this is nothing compared to the flood of material existence. You know, we're liberating all these people, giving them all these good samskars, just so they become Krishna conscious like this. So Prabhupada, after some time, he's actually like very famous. Even the father of Chandra Bose, he became like a follower of Prabhupada. Not totally like follower, but he was like he understood Prabhupada. He gave an elephant to Prabhupada. Yeah, that's why they had this elephant in this biggest like Calcutta mat. That's from him. And so he said that during the time of Prabhupada, people would look like, because he would travel, you know. Some people would criticize, like, he's sannyasi, why he's riding train? He's sannyasi, why he's wearing shoes? Prabhupada is like, he's just using what is there, like this yukta vairagya. You know, we're not like renunciating like anything. Real renunciation is you use everything in the service of God. You use everything but without attachment, like this. So he's using train or whatever technology is there. So he said that when he travels to go to one place to another, people will look where he's going. And then they would wait in the train station where they'll stop for the train. And then Prabhupada would be there and speaking Harikatha. 10 minutes for that stop. And then goes to the next station. Another group is there. And he would speak like that. And sometimes it's very powerful because, like, what happened in Cuttack, he was just speaking for 5 minutes. And then someone said, "Oh, Prabhupada, I give you my printing press." Like that. And then because of that, then they had this Oriya like magazine. Like this. So, like, Prabhupada also. So this is our like Guru Varga. After Prabhupada, there's our Param Gurudev. We know how also, one thing with Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. That time when Param Gurudev, that time when he got Diksha from Prabhupada, that was actually the time when this Leela of Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was like staying in this latrine, you know, not going out. And people would say like, "Oh, Babaji Maharaj, why staying there? This is very dirty, bad smell, like this. Please come out, we'll give you a nice bhajan kutir." Then he would say like, "Oh, this is so much better than the stool of like materialists, you know, like the bad smell of like materialists associating with them." He's not coming out. He said like it was around this time when, that was long time ago, when Param Gurudev, when he got Diksha from Prabhupada, then Prabhupada sent them to Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And really that was like a, you know, like now confirmation that now his disciple is now accepting disciples. You know, now he's beginning his mission. You know, like grandfather, they're like, you know, grandfathers, they're even more loving than the father. So like we know, Param Gurudev is who? Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. You know? So when he's the old Babaji Maharaj, and he's telling, "I am the disciple of your disciple." You know? Disciple of Varshavanavi Devi Dayata. Because that's the name he gave to Prabhupada. Immediately he opened. It's like, oh, he's actually happy that now my disciple now like beginning his mission. He's now accepting disciples. And actually then he gave blessings also to Param Gurudev. He's telling him that all obstacles to your bhajan and to your preaching, I take that away. And so we know that in Param Gurudev, like especially at the time when Prabhupada left this world, so much of this like chaos, in the Gaudiya Math. And Param Gurudev, he again re-established, That time, parikrama finished, printing books finished, like this. So much time taken, like court cases, like this. There's fighting over properties. Param Gurudev is like lion. He says like lion, no? We know when during the first Navadvip Parikrama, the Sahaji Babajis and the Smarta Brahmins, they were so against the Prabhupada. Especially now he's very famous. He started his Navadvip Parikrama. So many people. They have elephant and they have Thakurji on the top of the elephants. And then they're in Paramatala area, they're throwing all these bricks and like stones, like nails, like so many things. And immediately they're rescuing Thakurji and running for their lives like that. Param Gurudev is taking Prabhupada, and bringing to one house, trying to, Prabhupada, give me your cloth. He's changing cloth. Like that. Because Param Gurudev knows, you know the story, no? Like, he taking the risk, right? Of course, Prabhupada doesn't need to do that. Like, he doesn't need, but he's giving. Like that is, he's like giving sannyas. So, anyhow, from that time, Param Gurudev has this vow, like when I make a mat, I will make mat here. This place, this is like headquarters of the Sahaji Babajis. He said like, I will sit on their chest and stab them with Siddhanta or Prabhupada. Like this. So then that's why they're just not so far away from this Paramatala. Or Devananda Gaudiya Math is there. Okay. So, also with all this fighting, and Pujapal Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Maharaj always talked, when he glorifies Param Gurudev, he would tell his experience. He used to be the secretary of Param Gurudev during this court case, because there was this fighting with the Gaudiya Math, and all the properties are owned by one group. The other group tried to take that. So Bhakti Rakshakshita Maharaj, he is mediator. He's telling like, okay, they can own all the properties except Mayapur. Okay, they only agree this. This is very good agreement actually, because all other places, all the other places you can make mat, but not Mayapur. That's the original place. But this other group, they're completely like rejecting all Prabhupada's teachings. They're not really following Prabhupada. And so he said, this is very dangerous if they own the properties in Mayapur. So then it was agreed. And so then after 14 years, or how long that court case, then finished, settled. But then Param Gurudev, he started a new court case. And he said like, they don't deserve to own the Calcutta temple, this Bag Bazaar. He started this court case. But then later on, he lost that court case. So then Maharaj, Pujapal Bharti Maharaj, he asked Param Gurudev, you never lose any court cases before. Because he always wins. Sometimes if there's no lawyer, he's a lawyer and he wins. But he never lose. And I said, but this time we lost. So bad we lost. Then Param Gurudev said, what do you mean I lost? I won. And then he explained, it's like, I'm not interested with these things, with this temple. I'm not interested. It's like, look, they're owning this temple. But in the temple, there's not even a murti of Prabhupada. Now all of them are all like Babajis. They don't even chant Mahamantra. Because they don't chant Mahamantra loud, like this. So then, after that court case, what happened? They have more than 10 sannyasis. Okay. Then they begin wearing like saffron. Then also, they even have 24-hour kirtan, Mahamantra. And then they put the murti of Prabhupada, like this. So then Param Gurudev said, so I won. This is what I wanted. At least they follow Prabhupada. So, Param Gurudev, then he established, and we can see from blessing of Guru Kishore Gauji Maharaj, his preaching very powerful, with his god brother, Abhay Charan, who now very famous all over the world, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. They were actually the one who started this Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. And then we know Param Gurudev, he established his army, Bhaktivedanta army. All his sannyasis are called Bhaktivedanta. His god brother himself, who's like co-founder, he started like the first Bhaktivedanta to go and conquer the world like this. And he he did all the foundation work, very powerful, and that's how all this mission is spreading. But Gurudev had to continue. The next Bhaktivedanta, Gurudev had to continue. And Gurudev is trying to make everyone appreciate that we're not just to chant Hare Krishna, like many people thinking, okay, we're chanting Hare Krishna, that is our main activity. And it doesn't matter, you chant Hare Krishna and you think of Lakshmi Narayan or Ramachandra, and like this. There has a mood in this, with that. There's some relation that we're trying to make people appreciate. And this is what we're trying to distribute, like the love of the Brijbasis, and inspiring them to really appreciate and become, desirous that, I want to become a servant of Radharani. Gurudev made it very clear, making it clear that, what is Rupanuga? This is our family, Rupanuga, following Rupa Manjari, like this. So, Gurudev served in that way, making us understand this parampara. Yes. And as followers of Gurudev, we have to appreciate this really. And we have to appreciate how this family is not based on Diksha. So we should not again try to reduce this family into like a Diksha parampara, like Diksha line. Trying to judge people like, who's your Diksha Guru? Or you should take Diksha from this. Like that. Like as if like this parampara is only by Diksha. Like it doesn't matter he has taken Diksha, but if they're following really the teachings of this Bhagavad Guru Parampara, like Srila Gurudev's, then they are a member of our family. Then this family will continue like this. And up to now, Gurudev will be teaching the next generations, just like Rupa Goswami is teaching up to now. Narottam Das Thakur is teaching up to now. Prabhupada is teaching up to now. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. These Bhagavad Gurus, their teachings will continue. So like for us as disciples of Srila Gurudev, I was encouraged that our role is to make people have nishta on the teachings of Srila Gurudev. Appreciate that, make them understand. Not just like externally, take Diksha from this, Maharaj, take this, like this. But understand Srila Gurudev's teachings and let them decide like who they want to take connection, like Diksha and like this. And understand that it's all like family of Mahaprabhu. If we're following these teachings of our Goswamis, what Srila Gurudev is bringing, like this. I think I'm speaking so much time. Forgive me for taking so much time. Okay, not so much. What time is Arti? Okay, so any questions you can ask?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of followings of Hare Krishna around everywhere. What do you think of that personally? And a lot go to different ways. What do you feel about that?
What do you mean Hare Krishna? Where else Hare Krishna? like people, you're talking about ISKCON maybe?
Yeah, ISKCON, and then you've got some other temples as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling about. Because when we talk about family of Mahaprabhu, one thing is we see, what group they belong. But really, we have to understand that the real family of Mahaprabhu is that who is really giving this gift of Mahaprabhu, inspiring people, let them understand how great the love of the Brijbasis, those serving especially Radha and Krishna, like this. If they're teaching like this, then they are in the family of Mahaprabhu. It doesn't matter what group they belong. Like this. So, but if you don't understand this, because you might be worshipping Radha and Krishna, but in that mood that they are God. This is Lakshmi Narayan worship. You go Vaikuntha in this way. You're not going Braj like this. But if you're worshipping like Radha Krishna, like really how our Goswamis and how our Guru Varga is teaching, like why are we doing Mangalarti, like all these activities. These are like very deep activities actually. One time Srila Gurudev, he was calling one by one brahmacharis in Mathura. I was so scared also that time. He started calling, like especially the naughty brahmacharis. He's calling, come here, stand. And then he's asking, why are you chanting? Like, why are you waking early morning and doing Mangalarti? Because they don't do. It's like, why are you doing like this? Huh? And then they're quiet, then sit down, calling another one like this. Why are you doing like this? And I'm also like afraid Guru may call me. But Guru didn't call. But that time was like scary time. But Guru makes so much impression to everybody. His main point really was that we have to understand that whatever activities we're doing now, that cannot be considered sadhana if the goal of that is not to attain bhav. Not to attain that like mood. When you say bhav, you're actually talking about the mood of the eternal associates of Radha Krishna or Mahaprabhu. Those nitya siddha bhavs, those eternally perfect moods of the devotees, of Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna. You want to have that kind of love as they have. So when you talk about, like for us, we want to have that mood like Rupa Manjari, like all the servants of Radha, like that. So you have to see your activities now. Is that to attain that mood? Or are you thinking this activity will help me attain these moods? Because if not, then this activity is not sadhana. Gurudev is telling like that. And therefore, we have to see, okay, why are we following Ekadasi? Why are we following all these activities? Am I going closer to my goal to attain this mood? Or am I becoming far away? Like, I'm doing this Ekadasi, for example, or just whatever activities we're doing, and you become so proud, and you're thinking, oh, they're so bogus, or like that. Are you becoming closer? Is it the moods that we want to attain? Like that. Mahaprabhu is telling, Trina, Dapi, Sunichena, Tarurapi, Saishnana, Amanina, Malan, Kirtana, Sadhani. Like, always chanting Harinam, but in this mood. This is the mood of perfect servant. These are the moods of those like associates of Mahaprabhu. Like this. So this is what we can like try to introspect. Am I closer to that kind of mood, or am I just becoming more puffed out like this? So there's some like relation and some like moods that we want to attain, and this is what our Guru Varga is inspiring. So like those chanting Hare Krishna, there's a certain rasa that we want to attain by chanting this and that. That's why Guru is the one who's giving relation. He's trying to inspire, okay, this kind of relation. So when we chant Hare Krishna like this, we're not talking about like Krishna and Balaram or Krishna and Ramachandra like this. They're specifically telling us, especially if you're following Srila Gurudev in the line of Rupa Manjari, then the Ram there is not Balaram or Ramachandra. The Ram there is Radha Raman. There. So, like this. I don't know if that's understandable.
Yeah, not part of it.
Can I ask?
Yes.
You told that by mercy of Guru we get this Shuddhanam. Where is the beginning of Shuddhanam? You told that you chant, and you see the form. Is this the beginning?
No, when you say Shuddhanam, that means really Krishna himself, like completely, like as Krishna himself. So not just the form or like, because also, but that's like how it starts. Glimpses. So like for example, when the sun, I'm telling the sun is still covered by clouds. So gradually, little, then slowly you're seeing. But when you see the full sun, that is very Shuddhanam. When one Shuddhanam is there, then really you're Vaishnava. But that's not so. Actually, so in Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, like he said, very soon, like in a few days, he's telling like that. In a few days, he'll be able to chant Shuddhanam. Yes, Ruth.
I just want to know one more question about chanting. When you're chanting, there's a lot of anatas sometimes come up, mind disturbances.
Yes.
Why is that?
Oh, and a lot of people, and some people, they actually have this misconception or this misconclusion. It's like, oh, my chanting makes me more dirty because all these like bad ideas come. But actually, it is like this. Like when you're cleaning, then it appears more dirty because all the dust are coming. But actually, because before you're not aware, it's just like part of you, all these anarthas, you're not aware of that. But now that you're being purified, then you begin to notice them, like that. Oh, it's there, like that. So in the beginning, actually, you just have to tolerate. It's like that. Tolerate. That's why be tolerant than a tree.
How many
Like
years?
this.
How many years do you reckon?
It actually depends on you. Like on this path, actually, it depends how greedy you are and how like high class your association. You have to associate with greedy people. And then you become so greedy also, and everything very quick. Like that. It says that the spiritual life is like walking on the razor's edge. But that's compared to Vaidhi Bhakti. Like that. Like very dangerous. You have to be very careful. But when you have some very high class association, and then with that association, you're inspired now, and you're with him actually in Rag Marg, then it says that like, okay, it's like razor's edge, but you're running with blindfold also. And you're running very quick. I like that.
You mentioned that if you have Sadguru, then he's your eternal guru.
Yes.
If in one lifetime you have Sadguru and then he leaves the planet, for instance, then you are sent by mercy to another Sadguru, and who's your eternal guru?
Oh, well, okay, one thing also, because some new people, Sadguru means not like sad guru, no, like not happy guru. Because like maybe some people be like, what's Sadguru? Like everything, because that happened, like in other places. It's like Sadguru is like not happy guru. Okay. Sadguru means eternal guru. He's really your eternal, like where you have this eternal connection. And there's no like there's really no, how to say this, like lack. There's no lack of Sadgurus. Like for example, like 6 Goswamis. They're all there in the eternal world, but someone is really prominent. Where you're connected, like this. So it's not like only in that world, in the particular universe, only one Sadguru. And then you go to another world. Okay, then you have to have another Sadguru. No, Sadguru means your eternal guru. But in this world, you may meet like many like pure devotees. One of them is your Sadguru, and they're actually connected to each other also. Like they're friends, like that. So maybe in your next life, because you have not perfected, then you're going to the same universe as your Sadguru, your eternal guru.
If you have 2 Sadgurus like both Diksha and Shiksha, then which one will you go to in your next life?
Now, like of all this, either Shiksha or Diksha, one of them will be really prominent in your life, and he's your like main connection. But they can be there both together also. Like they're like Rati and Rupa, Manjari, they're there both. But our connection is like with Gurudev, or like this. And like, they're there. But it said someone's Sadguru, because when we talk about Sadguru, that is like your eternal connection, like that. So, he can be your Diksha Guru, he can be your Shiksha Guru, like someone prominent in your life. And this will become clear more and more when really he'll be in the pastime of Mahaprabhu with that like Sadguru. Now, I'm just talking about like theoretical, I'm not like, but this is something like very personal really, like spiritual life is individual, like personal life. This is something that we have to experience ourselves. So some idea is there, it's like this, but this is also up to really, like we ourselves have to experience, and when we experience this, we understand this one. And it's my honor and like fortune to be here with like high class devotees, like all disciples of Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada. It's like that's a very rare like time, like not so many devotees are present from that generation, and it's very inspiring to like meet these devotees. So here there's many Swami Prabhupada disciples, and like I consider it like my honor to be here. Okay, more or finishes?
I have a question. It's a question that came to me a few days ago. When one attains Radha Krishna Prema, I understand 7 generations forwards and backwards get liberated. What form is this liberation? It's Prema or?
It's like that, not even like a, it's not like, not even Radha Krishna Prema, it's like if one becomes a devotee, then his generations past and present will be liberated, you know? So there's many kinds of liberation. There's 5 kinds of liberation. One, you can get same planet as Bhagavan, same form as Bhagavan, like this, you know, like this for, and also this like Brahma Jyoti, like merging, that's also called liberation. So any of those kinds of liberation, they can.
It depends on Krishna or on the person.
This is only like an indication that if they become devotee, for sure they will have liberation. And as far as like what type of liberation, that's like something.
So the liberation means the opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether they accept it or not, they will be given the opportunity.
At least liberation meaning completely they're free from suffering from the material world. No, they're not like on this material world suffering like this. And that's why we say just by Namabas. Namabas can give liberation like this. But not praying.
I have another question. In the Gita it says to think of Krishna all the time. But this sounds very impossible. How do you think of 2 things at the same time? It's very hard.
No, that, you know, in Bhagavad Gita there's so many verses. No, there's so many verses, right? And Gurudev, he's emphasized that we have to appreciate the, you know, the essence in Bhagavad Gita, like the most important verse in Bhagavad Gita. You know, Man manabhav mad bhakta madhyaji man namaskuro. You know, it's like the first, because there's like many instructions in this one actually. It says that man manabhav, like now always be absorbed. Your mind should always be absorbed. Always thinking of Krishna. Not like forcibly thinking, but it just comes naturally. Like you should be like that. And Guru said, like this is the case of the gopis, or like the Brijbasis. They cannot stop. They want to stop even, but their mind keeps thinking of Krishna like that. And that is very high. Like you're telling, like how to do like this. So then he said, like, oh, if you cannot do like this, then what is name? Mad Bhakto. Then become a devotee. That means you're not yet that in the platform like the Brijbasis. Now at least become devotee, like Raganuga Bhakta. Now, with all your activities, Gurudev said, if you don't know this definition of bhakti, you're not a disciple. What is that? Like this. Anukulyena Krishnanusilanam. All your activities, only for service of Krishna. Favorable for Krishna. You do like that. And it says like, no other desires. Meaning no desire for sense gratification, no desire for liberation. And therefore, if like this kind of desire, then karma, gyan, all these activities cannot contaminate your activities. And that activity only for service of Krishna, purely. Anukulyena Krishna anusilanam. Anu meaning constantly, non-stop. So that is like bhakta. And he said, oh, if you cannot do like this, then madhyaji. Then do puja, like worship him. Like, okay,
cannot do means
like you're not in that stage. No, you're not in that stage yet. So you're not in that stage yet of okay, like that kind of love. Then okay, force yourself, follow rules and regulation. Madhyaji, like puja, like like okay, do like all this according to Shastra. This is like Vaidhi Bhakti.
You're supposed to force yourself.
Yeah, like you have to, because now you're not that stage yet.
So shouldn't one force themselves to think of Krishna all the time?
Yeah, you can do. And that's why, we're chanting. When you're chanting Harinam, automatically, somehow you're developing this taste also. This is like our direct connection with Krishna, this Harinam. I'm always giving the example, like now, it's very common, you see everywhere, in bus stand or like airport, anywhere, people with a smartphone and just on the corner and like you're laughing sometimes like that. they're absorbed. So I'm telling like devotees also, they have their like smartphone with their mala. And then with their mala they're connected to like that. So yeah, like we have to develop that kind of connection. In the beginning, it's sometimes like it's like zero, like no dimension, only repeating Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But this is the thing, like after some time you'll be purified, then it will become relishable. And once, especially you enter into the pastimes, then you will not want to stop chanting. All these like people, they've been chanting 50 years, and they cannot stop chanting. Why? Because already they're in that stage. So in Bhakti, Rupa Goswami is telling us at this stage, there's Shraddha. Shraddha, this is the faith. This is like someone giving you a baby. When someone gets baby, it's very delicate time. Don't leave your baby outside. It's gonna get frozen when the snow like this. Or you have to feed baby. Like this. You have to take care of her nicely. So in the beginning, you have some contact with some sadhu or some like any objects of bhakti, or you've read some shastra, some shraddha come. Like, but that is like very critical time yet. So you have to take care. So how? Sadhu Sangha. Keep association with devotees. And with association with devotees, especially when you begin to accept Guru, then it said that is beginning of Bhajan Kriya. When you begin to accept Guru, then he's gonna give you mantra. He's giving you all these guidelines like how to follow nicely, and then you can do bhajan. Is that like Diksha, for example? Why we do Diksha? Why Guru giving mantra? Because this body is material. With this body you can never serve Radha Krishna. This body is useless. So then Guru, he's giving you mantra. And he's giving you all these activities, making this body spiritualized. And then you become qualified to serve Radha and Krishna. And that way you can perform bhajan. Bhajan not meaning like you're singing bhajan, like Hare Krishna, like all these songs, bhajan. Bhajan meaning service. Of course, like by singing, then all these moods of service come also. And you can be singing and at the same time performing bhajan, manasi seva, like our Narottam Das Thakur. But bhajan, from the root word bhaj. This bhaj means seva, service. Okay. So Guru beginning you to train how all the service mood, and now you become engaged. So that relation begins. When you're chanting, then so much relation will come. And that actually makes the name becomes like from Namabhas to Shuddhanam. Okay. Now, then after with Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritis, all Anarthas becoming like removed, then you will have Nishtha. Nishtha means your Shraddha has become 100% complete, like complete Shraddha. Shraddha means like you have this firm faith that if I do bhakti, everything is taken care of. Full faith. In Nishtha, that means you have attained that full faith, but you're not tasting yet like anything. You're just fixed like this. And because you're fixed, like Maya cannot touch you. He said, like in Nishtha, you're not anymore, controlled by like the world's, like suffering and influence. But because Anarthas is no longer making obstacles to your bhajan. But in Nishtha, you're not tasting yet anything. Even deep attachment. Just you're fixed. But this is very good already. In Madhura Kandavini, it describes there that you can actually tell when you are on this platform of Nishtha. Because now you can see that these obstacles created by your anarthas are no longer affecting you, or like it's not anywhere present. And it mentions there are 5. Like one is lie. Laya means like sleepiness, Like, I want to chant nicely, and you're making all this plan to chant nicely. I wonder if you're falling asleep, Like this, or listening to Harikatha, and you're falling asleep. Sometimes even kirtan is very nice, everyone dancing, but you're falling asleep. It's like, that's like laya. Then the other one is vikshepa. Yeah. Vikshepa, no? Vikshepa means inability to, like the mind is like restless. like you're chanting or listening to kata, but you cannot focus because your mind is like going here and there. Oh, did I lock my room? Oh, I left this, like that. So many things. Then the other one is apratipati. There's no sleepiness, no lie, no vikshepa also. But you cannot concentrate, like you just cannot focus, like that. Like sometimes some people, they're listening to kata, and they can understand so many things. And then I'm wondering, like, I didn't hear that, like that. Or sometimes you're reading and you cannot just understand anything. You're reading so much, you cannot understand. Like that kind. Then there is the kasai. Kasai means this tendency to be angry or become greedy. Like, sometimes some devotees, they're not disturbed. Some kids, they're playing there and they're chanting. Yeah, no problem. But you, so much kasai, then, you're disturbing me! Get away from here! Like this. It's like, oh, why are you playing harmonium while I'm chanting? Like this. Like this. Breaking. Like that. So, that is one. And then, rasaswad. Rasaswad, when there's some competition between your bhajan and some sense gratification. And then you're choosing sense gratification, you know? Wow. Like, oh, you're chanting. I said, ice cream! Like this. And immediately, putting your mala and running. Like this. So, like you will see, like these are obstacles. They're created from these anarthas. But in the stage of Nishta, like no more of these kinds of obstacles.
But I don't understand. If you said to when you watch like TV and chanting, that's an offense. So if you're eating ice cream or you're eating your meal, you should be focused on the mantra or on eating your meal. I don't know. Do you understand?
I don't quite understand. No.
Let me rephrase it.
No. First, let's understand this. When I was talking about this example of Hela, in Hela, this is one type of namabas. This is one type of namabas wherein totally like neglect or disrespect to the name. You know, so it's the most offensive of all the namabas. But I was telling, even this namabas can give liberation, like that. So this one is like, when you're like chanting and like totally disregard to name, like you're chanting and at the same time talking like this, or.
But I thought you're supposed to chant all the time while you're talking and while you're eating. Think of Krishna all the time.
Yeah, but you're not thinking of Krishna. No, it's like you're completely neglecting this chanting. Because if you're chanting and really you know this is Krishna, then you'll be so much attention. Oh, this is Krishna. It's like if Krishna will come now, you know, and I will always give this example during Ekadasi. Because sometimes, like Ekadasi is like a time where you become fearful. You know, it's like, oh, Ekadasi again tomorrow. Like this, like fasting. Like that's like you become afraid. Like why? Because you see that as a time for like austerity, like that. But if you think like Ekadasi, that is the day, is like Krishna's appearance day. This is Harivasar. Vas means to reside. This is the time where Krishna himself is residing on this time. So when this day comes, it's actually Krishna comes on this day. So it's like, if Krishna comes right now, what will you do? Or Krishna will say, tomorrow I come to your house, like that. Or let's say Gurudev, I come to your house tomorrow. So then, the whole day, like, you're preparing everything. You know, you're preparing. And when he comes, you'll forget eating, you'll forget sleeping. And you're just there and with him, like spending whole time with him, serving him, making him like, you know, whatever, serving him like that. So it should be like in that mood, like, Ekadasi tomorrow, yeah, Ekadasi coming, like this. Like, Ekadasi tomorrow, oh my God, like this.
But I think also in answer to his question, there's also like the examples of like Ambarish Maharaj, who like, you know, if you want to look at something, you know, don't look at a movie, look at a video of Gurudev giving a lecture or Prabhupada or even like Krishna cartoon or something like that. So, you know, you have all these senses that need, you know, you have to feed the senses and you have to feed the mind, but it's what you feed them that is the, you know, so it's to think about Krishna all the time. Actually, you can engage your senses in such a way that, you know, you are thinking about Krishna more than if you engage them in another way. Do you see what I mean? There was one sadhu called Ambarish Maharaj, and he engaged his eyes in looking at the beautiful forms of the deities, and his tongue in tasting like Mahaprasad, so what was offered to the deities, he would relish that rather than go into, you know, Kentucky Fried Chicken or something. He would engage his hands in serving the Vaishnavas, and so on and so forth. So, you know, we have this material body and we have these senses, but what we actually do with them can be, you know, like Krishna says in the Gita, your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy in this way. So it's like Krishna consciousness is not like an artificial process, right? It's something that you can engage your whole mind, body, senses, everything in this body, like at this time. It's not like I have to drop everything and only just sit there and think of Krishna like a kind of yogi or something. It's like a, you know, and that's what Prabhu's talking about, service as well, because, you know, when we live in the temple, we do so much activity, everything has to be done like the ladies who live here, they cook and they clean but they do it all for Krishna, you know, so they're doing it for themselves. So it's a real process, right? It's a realistic,
like very practical things. Like the more senses engaged, then it's easy, you know, easy. That's why we're chanting Mala, because you're engaging the sense of attachment. Like in Kirtan, all your senses involved. You're dancing, just like this. You're not necessarily only like sitting like that, and singing Kirtan and thinking something.
Guru said, I never tried to control my senses ever. So I only engage them in Krishna service.
Question.
Yes, Rohan.
It says in the Sastra that the size of the soul is 1/10 sadhans or 1 sadhan of the
very small
wheels of the hand. So when you develop into spiritual life, what is the size of the soul? Is it growing?
You know, because when we talk about this, like in Gita, it's something like this: when the tip of the hair, you divide into what 10,000 times. The size. Really, what it means is that your eyes cannot see. Your eyes cannot see the soul, because our eyes is material. The soul you cannot see. You know, the soul is completely different, like material, different. How do you call that? Different energy. So there's material energy and spiritual energy. So, but we have our eternal form, and now our mind is material. When we talk about form, or immediately we're talking about like what our mind understands as the size and like that.
Maybe Goloka Vrindavan.
Like for example, that's why we only say internal and external. No? Internal, external. We say the spiritual is internal, because really sometimes we just like the spiritual world. We're pointing up as if it's up. You know, like it's not up there because it's not anywhere in the material dimension. But you say internal because it's internal. That means the spirit, you, that is like there internally, something like that. And only within you can realize this. That world is completely beyond the material dimension. So this mind, material mind, also cannot understand.
In spiritual world, the beings are small. They're not small.
They have their size, but that is like as far as how big or how small.
It's a
that
spiritual
is,
size.
Yeah, it's a spiritual size, not this. Not this.
Time. It's like time is not the same.
Like for example, time. You know, how would you imagine that when you say the spiritual? There's no time. Like, how do you think of that? Like I always give example now. Oh, okay. When we talk about the jiva, for example, there's always this idea that that's so unfair, because why we're given this choice before, and now we made this choice, and now we're in the material world. Yeah. You know, like it's so unfair. Like he's not giving us this tendency to make the right choice like this. Huh? Sometimes we feel like that. But look, you understand. But how else are they gonna tell? They're like, listen, if they explain in the book like this, because we're only looking according to our time, you know. But let's say you just zoom out to the time of Mahavishnu, for example.
Okay.
Like then you understand that that choice is up to now. It's going on right now. Like we, the Jiva, we're Tatashta, we're marginal, we're in the middle. It said the Tatashta Jiva, he can see both worlds. Like right now, we are seeing both worlds. We're seeing the material world. Gurudev is showing us the spiritual world. And the choice is going on now. Now, but look, if you just zoom out to the time of Mahavishnu, that choice is very quick. You know, just imagine in one breathing of Mahavishnu, that's like how many Lord Brahmas are born, and how many Lord Brahmas like maybe die and born like that. In a day of Brahma, that's already 1,000 like Kali Yugas, those 1,000 cycles, like that. So that's like very quick. Krishna gives our desire. He said, all the jivas, we are searching for happiness. And those who search happiness away from him, then they go to the material world. And those who search happiness going towards him, then they go to him, like that. And I'll give example, like little kids, they want to play. Father, give me iPad, I want to play, like this. And then, okay, here, give iPad. And then you're playing, whole day, you're dying so many times. And you're crying, it's like, I cannot do this. And so much anxiety. And dying, and again starting. And dying again starting. Then after some time, you realize, I just wasted my time. Then you put your iPad and you go back to your father, like this. So it's kind of like that. Okay.
I have one more.
Oh, yeah.
You do your 16 rounds in the morning, and then you drive to do bhajan, Harinam on the street. What are you supposed to be doing while you're driving to bhajan? Is it okay just to think of anything? Or are you supposed to focus on
Look at your phone.
Now, the thing is, what we're really trying to do is, as much as possible, we develop this service mood, you know? Like you can see everything in connection to Krishna, like this. That is, so like now it's up to you how to arrange your time and whatever, you know, that you can always be reminded of Krishna, and you can always be thinking of him, and everything in connection. Because really, that is what it is. We're told lust and love is the same energy. And therefore, you cannot really fight lust. It's not like, I don't want to have lust, I will fight with lust, and like that. No. The thing is, we just transform this lust, it becomes love. So our Krishna's Kaviraj explained, lust is when you see everything in connection to your senses, to your enjoyment. And love is when you see everything in connection to God, like this. So like, for example, you see a flower. Immediately you see, beautiful flower, immediately enjoying the flower. That's like lust. When you see a flower, then you say, beautiful flower, I can offer this to Krishna. And that's the example of lust. And so like, that energy of lust is actually the same love, the same energy. You only need to redirect that from you as the center to God as the center. Okay. So you engage your senses for pleasure of God, then automatically lust will be finished.
I have a question. You mentioned about walking on a razor when we have Sadhguru. Can you explain a bit about that? When I get injured or car myself, where do I turn to? If that's the case.
No, like this is actually Guru was explaining one time when he was talking about Raganuga Bhakti. When in Raganuga Bhakti, the devotee is completely like in that mood of like, you know, like spontaneous love. No one can stop him. He's just go like so greedy now. Like he just want like service to God, and it doesn't matter like what is written in scripture, like this, but he just serve God. At that point, his life is like already so one-pointed. So it's like he's gone, he's like traveled this razor's edge, but like very safe, because now he has this love like that. So this is an analogy. This is not like a perfect analogy that you have to like in all the details and like this.
It's gone beyond the rules and regulations, hasn't it? So many limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti.
Will you be distracted in any any sense or any ways while someone is on that path? Or I don't know.
He said like actually the beginning of Raganuga Bhakti begins in Ruchi. So he's not even anymore in that path of Shraddha, like not even in Nishta. Now he's Ruchi. Everything just like, you know. So he's even past the stage of Nishta. Like people are struggling because they have not passed the stage of Nishta. But now he's in that Ruchi stage, meaning like he's beyond this world now. Not anymore like in the stage of, not even before Nishta.
Thank you.
Can I just ask one last question?
Is there,
You know when you're outside
Do
and
more
you're
for me,
chanting
anyway.
internally, there's this thing that kind of draws people towards you.
Typical lady.
Well, for me anyway, that's what happens. And then they'll start to come and start walking next to me or walking towards me, like a bit weird. It's a bit freaky. Is there any way of controlling that? Because I just stop chanting and then end up stop walking the other way. I'm serious. Is there any way of controlling that?
It's an opportunity for you to tell them something about Krishna.
yeah. Yes. Okay. I can know.
Offering.
Offering. Some more.
Last question, anybody?
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yes.
Sorry, there are new devotees. Obviously, I'm just a non-devotee myself. But there's
Question.
there's Vaidhi and Ragmark. Obviously, you were explaining just now, and Gurudev explains. Obviously, he speaks about Raganuga Bhakti, which is lovingness of God. But for those that are new to the consciousnesses, what is more important, Vaidhi or Rag? Because there's this understanding that if you follow rules and regulations very austerely, to an extent, you can just fall down that line of Ashwarya and looking at God in a certain way, and without the Rag part of it. So what would you recommend for those that are aspiring
Now,
to become devotees?
some idea of people is that when you're following Rag Marg, then you're not following rules. You know, like the main point there is that your motivation of doing bhakti is not because you fear what is written in the rules and regulation, but really is out of like love. Especially you've been inspired by that kind of love of those associates in Golok Vrindavan. You've seen how much they love. You want that kind of love, like this. And we see in our Guru Varga, especially Mahaprabhu, they're inspiring this kind of love, but they themselves are examples of like following very strict rules. And that's why one of the missions of the Goswamis, one of them is teaching etiquette, rules and regulation. Because they wanted to show that, we're teaching Ragmarg, but we're not teaching that there's something cheap. So like, following rules and regulation. Mahaprabhu is a very strict sannyasi. And he's showing, you can talk about this high love of God only if you become very pure, like this, like the sannyasis. Sukadev Goswami, he was brahmachari. He was talking about this, like the Radha and Krishna. So like this, we see they're all following like very strictly rules and regulations. But there's a difference between those in Vaidhi Marg, following rules and regulation, and those in Rag Marg. And they also looking like they're following rules and regulation. But their mood is totally different. The mood is different. So in the beginning, we're not in Rag Marg. In the beginning, we're taught, follow all Vaidhi. But we will follow Vaidhi Marg, but towards going to Rag Marg. But not following Vaidhi Marg, as in like following Vaidhi Marg and like worshipping God with Aishwarya. Okay, we're following all these rules, but with that propensity, that direction.
I have another question. Something that's causing me conflict is that we're supposed to have service towards Krishna. Is that the same as saying I want to have praying for Krishna? Because one can think that I want to have love towards Krishna, that's selfish because I want to have love for Krishna. So is praying and service the same? So one can think I want to love Krishna, I want to serve Krishna, the same?
That's like when you may say love for God, it's explained that really you want only to serve Him. You want Him to be happy by serving Him. It's like synonymous.
Ah, so you want Krishna to be happy, not you don't. So when I say I want praying for Krishna, is that me being selfish or?
Sorry?
When I say I want to have love for God,
Yeah.
it's me. I want to have love for God towards God. Am I being selfish or is that service?
Not necessarily if you understand what this love is for God, you know. If you say, oh, I want to have love for God, I want to be a pure devotee of God, then you understand what is this pure love, meaning that means, oh, I'm a servant of Krishna. My whole life is only for his service, to make him happy, to please him. If that is your idea of love, then there's no harm. You say, I want to love God, I want to have love for God. Sometimes don't worry so much about like all these details like that.
Can one extend one's life by doing something or shorten his or her life by doing something?
Already we have eternal life. Like our life is
life.
eternal. Now when we talk about this body is like existence. So this body has, according to one's karma in the past, it has its like time limit. It's like when you're renting a house and it's like leased for a certain time, like that. So there's already like a set thing, but it can become less than even. Like if you're not taking care properly of this body, you're doing, or you're committing suicide, for example, and then now you prematurely like out of this body, and that's why you become ghost. You know, that's usually situation with ghosts. Now they remain in their subtle body, and they don't have a gross body anymore, but they remain. They have to finish the time when they're meant to stay. So they're like wandering like ghosts, and they're creating disturbance and there. And the winner is.
Should be a limit on how many questions. Two questions.
My question.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Because it said that we're supposed to have Krishna's the enjoyer, and he enjoys everything.
Yes.
But Krishna is supposed to be the most humble. Krishna is supposed to be the one. He doesn't want to enjoy. He wants us to enjoy.
You're putting your like you know
Twist.
Yeah, twist for Krishna. Now Krishna, that is his nature. Like, that is his function. He's the supreme enjoyer, and our function is like his servant. Now, if you try to function as the enjoyer, you'll never be happy. But if you're serving, then you'll be happy because that is our natural function.
So it's through the service you attain the ultimate happiness, but one has to remove like the focus on me, focus on Krishna.
But automatically you will be happy by that service.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a conflict with the service and the love. That's different, but the same.
That's why we say sometimes we define like love as devotional service. You know, like because that is really the nature of love, service. When you say anukulina Krishnanushilanam, sometimes we just like how do you call it? Shorten it into like non-stop service. Because like when you say the word there is anushilanam. This word shilanam, meaning you engage your mind, body, senses in activities. What kind of activities? That is anukul to Krishna. Anukulina Krishna Anushilanam. So along with that engagement of activities, also sentiments come. You know? So two things actually, when you perform activities, moods also come. So with this activities, performance of activities and this development of moods, both should be favorable for Krishna, not antagonistic to Krishna. So really they make just shorten that by saying, what is this activities performing for Krishna's pleasure and making moods favorable for Krishna? Really, that is service.
Should one do service even when one resents the service, or should one become happy and then do service with happiness and with a positive mood?
like in the beginning, sometimes you have to force, because this is the nature with so much anarthas. You think that you're not happy, but you know, and because of some faith, you continue to do. You're not tasting happiness. You're not tasting any taste. So that is like in the stage of nishta, you're just like fixed, but you're not tasting anything. And sometimes, especially before nishta, you're just forcing. Like when you're sick, jaundice, you're not tasting sweetness on the sugar. But when you're eating continuously sugar, it's like a medicine also. After some time, you begin to taste the sweetness. So in the beginning, sometimes your service to Krishna, you know it's service, and this is like an attempt to serve him, and it may not, like, you know, you don't find happiness with it, but you're forcing. But after some time, then the relation will be there, and you begin to taste actually attachment to the service, and that is ruchi. Now you become attached to the activity. Later on, you become attached to Krishna himself, and that is the stage of asakti. So now, both the practice and to Krishna himself. There's stages to this. So in the beginning, it's like by force, no harm, continue. Then bhav. In bhav, flower comes. It's like now flower coming. But when flower comes, then bee will come. So actually, it's in the stage of bhav, only the time Krishna comes, the devotee. And really, that is the time when you have contact with Krishna directly. Because in bhav, your eternal like mood with Krishna, you already realize in bhav. But still in bhav, you're not tasting bhakti rasa. It's like when flower is there, you cannot take the juice yet. The flower has to become fruit. You know, this flower later will become fruit. The mango flower will have to become fruit. And then when the fruit comes, then you can get the juice. You can taste. That's in bhakti. I mean in prem. In prem, then this bhakti rasa you actually begin to taste. That's like real high stage.
Could you just say something for the devotees about getting the balance for that force? Because some people force themselves so much they go in the opposite direction. Do you think there's a balance there?
Yeah, necessarily have some balance. But you know, if you're in association with devotees, this is a problem, because if you try to do alone, then all these things, like, you know, you don't know what is proper. But if you're staying with devotees, then it's very good, because if you're not properly balanced, then they'll make you balance. You know, they'll chastise you like this. So that's why it's very good association with devotees. Because sometimes difficult.
The goal, I understand, is prem, yes, but we can by namabas achieve like not prem, but this liberation. And I want to ask how not to be not stuck in this liberation, how to continuous, or even we shouldn't go to this liberation and go out of the way.
It's said that now, because we should not be contented with namabas. Now we're just glorifying namabas, because Haridas, he was glorifying namabas, but he's telling this namabas he can never give prem. It can never give prem. So this namabas have to become shuddhanam. So how this namabas become shuddhanam? Only when relation really comes, like actual relationship will be there, and that is only when really you have association with Guru, and you're hearing from Guru like all these these things that will make you have this fixed relation with Krishna. Really? You become attracted to Krishna like that. When you're chanting Nam, it's so much relation is there. Automatically all these anarthas also like cleansed now. So with anarthas, this namabas stays, no? Like, because this anarthas is covering your vision. But it said no harm, continue chanting, and then gradually you purify. When you chant Shuddhanam, then so much attraction for Krishna will come. Then prem develops.
And if somebody gets a liberation which he doesn't want. So, I mean,
No,
like he's not stuck then.
no, like
He
the,
can
winning the
continue.
lottery.
no, also we have to understand liberation. As I've said, like devotees, they're not interested in liberation. No, Mahaprabhu said, like, we're not interested in liberation. We want bhakti. Like this. That's why we're not accepting all this offer of sense gratification, liberation. They'll be following the devotee. They're really ready to serve the devotee. Like this. But the devotee not taking those things. They want only this perfect mood of service. And we have to become really purified to live that. Some people, they will say, Krishna is so powerful. Why he cannot bring me now to the spiritual world? Like right now, he can just transfer me and I will be there in the spiritual world right now, like that. He can do that. He is so powerful. No. So why he cannot do that? But then the Vaishnavas explained, like, really, if Krishna right now, he will take you to the Goloka Vrindavan, you will not be happy there. You'll be creating disturbance and you'll be envious of him only. Like this. If you look our now with the kind of consciousness that we have, some people, they're just like not talking to you little and immediately you're thinking like, why not talking to me? Like that. You know, there everyone centered on Krishna, never on you. Like that. So all this self-centeredness, with that you'll be disturbing the mood in Vrindavan. You can never enter Vrindavan. So that's why we have to be really purified, and it may take lifetimes. Like really. Okay, now so much. Huh? Arti. Nitay Gaur Pranamdi. Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai.